The new way of manifesting in 2026 is not manifesting. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. If this is the first time that you see me, I'm so happy that you are here. If you have been following my channel, watching my videos, you probably know that I am super tired of talking about manifestation. The term of manifestation bothers me so much because already makes it so difficult and makes people believe that they have to learn something that they don't know to experience the things that they desire in life. And that's not true. In this video, I'm going to explain how manifesting is something that we have been doing since we are in our mom's bellies. We have been doing it through our lives. You already have done it. You, in many ways, are doing it in this exact moment in life, in existence. And if you have been watching my other videos, you probably know that I am trying to invite people, to encourage people to stop talking about manifestation and using another way, something that feels nice, good for me, is to name this process as the creation process. But I think the main idea, the main core message that I want to share in this video is to show you, help you to remember that this is something that it's natural to being a human. This is as simple as this. This is what humans came to experience in this human life. Easy way to explain this is going back to the moment we are in our mom's belly. If we understand a little bit about what manifestation is, it's the ability to manifest our desires, right? So, the way it's been sold in the wellness and spirituality industry is that you might want more abundance, you might want more love. We have all different desires, and then you follow all these many steps, and then you get to experience that, right? And we, as I said, we already are doing that in this exact moment. It probably manifested this video, right? You probably, previous to watching this video, you have been desiring receiving this kind of message, like many examples of that. We will get into more examples of this later, but going back to how, since we are born, since we came to this planet, to earth, we have been doing, how come this is, what I'm saying of, this is the natural way of being a human. When we are in our mom's bellies, our natural desire, our authentic desires, when we are that little tiny thing inside of a belly, is to feel comfort and to get fed, to flow, to enjoy. And just sit with that image for a second. And I know there are exceptions where, there are very traumatic pregnancies, but the nature of humans is that there's a male, a female, figures that conceived and create life, and everything is designed in that belly to create that life, to nurture and to give birth, to meet all the desires and the needs of the baby. So until that moment, we are manifesting everything we desire, right? For most babies, again, I know there are exceptions, traumatic tragedies and all these things happen, but how we are designed, for the most part, most people, what experience is that those first months of life is the same. Baby desires comfort, love, attention, food. Baby receives that, right? So I would love you to give yourself a little moment to connect with maybe memories or with that feeling of, oh my God, I have manifested everything I have desired before. For most, I don't know, I don't want to say now for most people, because that's when the conditioning and programming start happening. We start growing, right? And there are events in our families, in the environment we live in, and the baby starts having fears, and it starts normalizing those fears and survival mechanisms, right? And the nervous system starts dysregulating. That's, if you're a little familiar with psychology and self-development, we understand that the attachment styles start being formed between, when we are born up to when we are 2 years old, pretty much, right? The anxious attachment style or the avoidance attachment style, and the other ones start forming during that time. From there on, we keep repeating those ways of responding to life, those ways of protecting ourselves, right? Because attachment styles, they are just that, mechanisms to protect ourselves. I recommend in one of my previous videos this beautiful book that has it was very illuminating in my own journey of understanding psychology, the psychology of humans and self-development, because it kind of recaps a lot of the psychology, the most important basic psychology, and from many other books. It's just like so practical, so precise. It's just a very easy book to read, very easy way to understand everything that I'm describing right now. The author refers to 5 personality patterns that we developed, again, since we are babies, and how, through our lives we respond to life from these patterns, and the reflections we start getting, like the events we start experiencing by us responding from these patterns. But also, it's really amazing, that's why I'm bringing up this book. In the book, he shows people how we can work with the patterns, so we are not operating from that level of nervous system. Is that a right way to say that? How we can start reversing, the behaviors we have created from living in that, experiencing life from that pattern, how we can reverse it, become aware, stop responding to life from the pattern. And in that process, what happens is that we start regulating our nervous system. And when we regulate our nervous system, which is the beauty of doing any self-development work, any of these journeys, is that we kind of go back to that safety that we once experienced as babies, when we manifested, created everything we desired, right? We start relaxing, we start trusting, we start feeling safe, right? Again, as we did once when we were little, when we were babies. And when we are in that energy, as I've been sharing, then we are open, ready to receive everything that we desire. So with all this explanation, I think it's clear for you now that in order for us to manifest, create the life we desire, the things we desire to experience in our lives, we want to go from fear to love, from fear to safety. We all have different levels and layers of fear, and we can say that another way to describe fear is, when we are stressed out, when we are anxious, when our nervous system is dysregulated, we are in fear. That's why we create these responses and we create these mechanisms that I was describing. We all have different ones, but just to name them, Um, Aggression is one mechanism, so we become defensive and we can become protective. Living, for example, in the book of five personality patterns. The five personality patterns are the living, the aggression, um, rigid, merging, and I'm forgetting another one. There are five. And most people lives in response from two. We all experience five of them, but there are two that are the most dominant. And it's just fascinating to have this knowledge, to understand that we all humans at some point, since we were babies to, it's different for everyone, but in the process of growing up, we start developing these mechanisms. And for a lot of us, what creates is that we just are protecting ourselves so much, spending so much of our energy or vitality in protecting ourselves, that we pretty much live in fear. And unfortunately, in that fear, we are not able to manifest, to create the things that we desire in life. But the natural way of being a human is to be in this side, to be love, to be in the energy of love as babies are. You hearing this, you watching this, I know I'm touching a place in your heart where you know already this. I'm remembering this right now, helping you to remember this. The natural way of being a human is that state of a baby that is pure love, pure essence, that feels safe. And sure, the baby is protected by their parents, but humans are designed to live a life that is just an evolution of that first state of love and safety and nourishment and all the beautiful things that a baby experiences. And we see it. There are humans that experience life that way. Since they're a baby, they just evolve in they live versions of that state. To ground that whole explanation, you as humans, we are designed, our nature is to manifest what we desire. Let's remove the term of manifestation. Our nature as humans is to experience everything we desire authentically. And I feel like authenticity is a big it's an important piece here. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about that, because if we go back to the example of a baby authentically desires, let's say, the breast milk of the mom, right? The baby probably wouldn't authentically desire a soda. So having that reflection clear of the nature of humans, who we are as humans, how we get how we got to this world and how we started experiencing life, I would love you to go back in your own story and try to connect and remember what are the things that have been authentic to you. It's different for everyone, but it's just a beautiful exercise, a beautiful thing to do, to go back in our childhood and connect with those feelings. What were our first desires? Because when we were little, obviously, we didn't have much programming. We didn't have much of conditioning in programming. We didn't have a lot of people. For the most part, we were still very authentic. right? A lot of the things we would do were just because it felt good to do them, right? So what happens in our adulthood is that we just have so much influence from media, friends, society, religion, many other places. And then it's hard for us to know exactly what we authentically desire. The way I like to check with myself if what I am desiring is authentic is to start writing down a list of the things that I think I desire, and kind of meditate on each of the things and try to feel if that thing that I desire it because it will get me somewhere, it will get me something. Whenever that desire is pointing to an outcome, it's usually something that comes from ego. So I desire to, let's say, go to Bali and have this amazing experience with my friends. And if I see it with the feeling, and maybe there's a little bit of, oh my God, because I cannot wait to post on Instagram, I cannot wait to, show my family how amazing of a friend I am, or things like that. Those are outcomes, right? Whenever there's an outcome, a need of an outcome, that is probably coming from an ego, from your ego, and not from your authenticity. A desire feels expansive. Usually, when we think about those things that we desire, not only gives us this, a feeling of joy and excitement, but usually it's so expansive that it feels like it's not only going to be good for you, it's almost like something that would expand, that will create a ripple effect on others. So that's an easy way how I do connect with what is an authentic desire, and maybe when it's a want, something that I want that is coming from ego. I would love to close this video by sharing, now that we understand that manifesting, creating the lives we desire, it's the nature of what we came to experience in this life by humans. Please let me know if you have any questions, if maybe something that I explained wasn't as clear. I hope it was as clear as possible, and it really touched something in your heart and is helping you to remember and empower you that this is what we came to do in this life. But now, for example, I would love you to leave with this part of my message in this video, which is why. One of the whys. If maybe you are for first time connecting with this ability, I don't want to name this process as this skill. No, it's a natural ability that we humans are capable of experiencing, the manifestation, the creating process. If it's kind of new for you to remember these ideas, these concepts, I would love you to listen to this story. And the story is, the goal of this story is to show you why. And yes, it feels beautiful, it feels wonderful to see that we can live a life where we can experience, we can bring into reality all our desires. That feels really nice. Yeah, experiencing the love I always desired, experiencing the abundance I always desired. Oh, it's beautiful. But the ripple effect that we can create is the most freaking powerful thing that we can experience. It's 2025, December 2025. Believe me, this is coming from the bottom of my heart, that is still very tender from a massive manifestation that I'm experiencing right now, massive desire that's been coming into reality in my life. And the one thing I have to say is that it's needed. It is so freaking needed that humans in this time in history, we realize that this is the nature of how we are meant to experience life. That we remember that this is what we came to this life to do, to experience. It needs to stop being a business. It needs to stop being a service, a product that people sell. We need to share our experiences and talk more about this subject so we normalize it and we empower each other to remember that this is what we came to do in life. Because the ripple effect that we create when we live the things we authentically desire, when we live the life we desire, that means also we are being the most authentic humans, that we are being the authentic human we were born as. We are being the essence of that little baby. We removed all the survival mechanisms, all the programming, all the conditioning, and all the BS. And we get to be as close, maybe it's not going to be exactly, because some people have gone through a lot of things, and there's, things from our parents and our families that, but in the moment we get to be as close as that, meaning being the most authentic version of ourselves we can be, the ripple effect that creates in others is unbelievable, and is the most powerful thing that we get to experience. And it just fills your full heart with love and gratitude and desire to keep doing more. What happens around us when we are living life from that place is that others feel it, because we touch that place in others, the place that probably I'm touching right now with this video in you, of remembering. If she's experiencing that, I know that's inside of me too. And maybe it's a process that we don't even intellectualize. It's kind of unconscious, subconscious, that we just feel we are by someone that is living that authentically, and we right away we feel so inspired. It's natural desire of humans to live that way. So, as I said, I think we are, as humanity, we are barely like unpacking these truths, We've been teaching, and, as I've been saying, so many people are teaching selling programs and services and coaching and all these things to help people to do something that it's just about remembering that it's in our nature, right? So we, every single day, we feel inspired by others, and we don't have that we haven't normalized creating those moments of reflection. Why am I feeling this way? What is happening in this interaction with this person? This person is lighting that same place inside of us. It's just like putting the what's the spotlight in that place in our hearts, that whatever amazing thing that person is doing, if we like it, if we appreciate it, if we get so inspired by it, it's because it's inside of us, because we are meant to be doing our own version of that. There's this whole idea about jealousy and feeling jealous and envious, and whenever we experience those feelings, it's because those people are showing us that we want that too. They are embodying, they are being those things that we would like to. Maybe that we can leave that for another video. I don't want to get too distracted with this idea. So the ripple effect that we create when we are being authentic is the most powerful thing and most needed right now. And always we need to show everyone that we all are capable of experiencing what we desire. We just have different versions, you know? Like, I don't know, let's say someone got a beautiful pink car, still things that are coming to my mind. And you're like, oh my God, she looks just, I want that, you know? Usually what you want is the feeling of that person experiencing having the pink car, right? So whenever we feel excited and inspired by those events, it's showing us that we want a version of that. So probably you do your you have your little moment of reflecting, and you realize that what you want is a yellow motorcycle that is going to create this similar feeling that this person is experiencing. So by me doing my journey, my process of following my desires and bringing those desires into my life / manifesting the life I desire, has been creating a ripple effect in my whole family. And now I'm receiving a manifestation that probably I'll be talking about more details in other videos. It's so big that I'm still kind of tender, and I'm not quite sure if it's the right moment to start sharing, but I will definitely. My mom, my dad, my sister, everyone in my family has been feeling the energy of what I've been doing. And now there is a massive event in my family that is about to happen. And this week I was like, God, this is the power. This is one of the beauties that has living life this way. So just wanted to close the video, sharing a little bit of the why we actually want to live life this way. Always happy, to hear from you, to answer any questions. I hope this message inspires something in you, that you feel encouraged and empowered to create the life that you desire, to experience it, everything you desire in this life. Stay tuned. Please feel always free to subscribe, because there are gonna be more videos, content talking about how we can experience and live life this way. For now, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video. So much peace and love.